Now, more than 1 dozen political parties are disputing the election outcome, as we see currently the results at 99% through. And some political parties not very happy with the results amidst widespread allegations of vote rigging and discrepancies. Now, joining me is Kamala Thomas. She's from the Africa Restoration Alliance. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me here.
All right, so I think something that has come to the fore over the past 24 hours, it relates to the discrepancies that have been observed in this election. The media themselves have been speaking to the IEC at various press briefings, but not much of a response there, not much of an enthusiastic response there. And I think the general sense that the IEC has failed to take not just the media, but the country into its confidence in terms of how it's been handling the discrepancies that have arisen from this election. But from your side, as the ARA, you are one of 20 political parties that are now seeking a revote um, as a result of these discrepancies. What can you tell us about this?
Okay, thank you very much for that. Yes, we're not happy with the results of the elections. Not like personally with that, but in the way that the elections was uh, uh, placed out or panned out from day one. I mean, we had issues, immense issues from day one on special votes days, and it also even stemmed out from our abroad missions. There's lots of things. I mean, lots of South Africans that really didn't get the time to exercise their right to vote because of missions being too far away from where they are. So this old system, I think, is deflawed in terms of not allowing us South Africans the right to vote. I know it is our right, and we can go there to vote anytime. But delimiting people to come and vote, long queues as a result of VMDs not working, that's a promise that the IEC made that that will work, but it did not. And that caused a lot of voters to go away. So we 20 parties now that have come up, we've ARA as ARA on our own, we have also raised our own objections. We've put in cases as well and lodged cases as well with ARA. But following that now, the other parties that have come on board, they also feel the same. They also feel that this now, we have not allowed our electorate to have the benefit and the willingness and the courage to say, we are South Africans, we voted, and be happy with that. So there were a lot of disgruntled people that went away. Sorry. And most of all is the people that didn't even turn up to vote. Why is it that the voter turnout is so less? And then the results shows a discrepancy, a huge discrepancy. We know our membership base, we know our electoral base, but when we see the results here, there's something wrong, something flawed. The IT system, and we having IT system go off at a certain time. So for us now, we have come together and we've put down issues. We're going to be tabling it now to the IEC commissioners, and then we will want to have a media briefing after this with all of the 20 parties coming together and saying this is what we want to put forward to. So it's now gone escalated to the point that it is not just ARA, it is multiple other parties that are also now saying, yes, let's get together and say this. It's not for us, it's for the people, it's for the country. It's to say South Africa is one. And how can we be one if we are not able to vote as a one party?
But earlier on, the IEC was briefing the media here at the
Mm.
Results Center, and they basically urged the nation to remain calm. They said they've got this under control. They said that in instances where there were discrepancies that were identified and were raised, they were willing to ensure that a recount can be instituted in such cases. Do you think that's enough to just simply recount the votes in areas where discrepancies have arisen, or are you calling now for full revote altogether?
So yes, a recount is one way to just highlight discrepancies, and which is a smaller thing. And then on the other hand, what if you do a recount on a wrong, incorrect thing again? You're just gonna recount the wrong thing. So based on that discrepancy, it still does not exclude all of the other things that added to us not having limiting us from having a free and fair elections. So allowing us this time, and then you allow us 3 hours to do this, to give you the information, and it's a long process. So you pushed us now in another corner. So this briefing, what we are doing now is to say we want an extension of that condemnation time. 3 hours is not enough. So 6 o'clock is not the deadline and should not be a deadline. So we want an extension of that so that we can formulate properly all of the discrepancies that we had. It's huge to just say, yes, there's one station. Now we must go in and look into the scanned results sheets and then tally from there to the people on our ground and say, yes, I voted here. Then we must get affidavits signed by the people to say, yes, they went and voted. Those are things, processes that take place, uh, that needs time, and you set in a time for us to comply does not mean that you're giving us enough ample time to allow us to be calm and collected and composed.
But we were also hearing from the EFF early on. We were in a press conference with them right here at the Results Center. And the leader there, Julius Malema, basically, he said the results that they are seeing, although they are concerned about certain discrepancies, they don't think it's necessarily going to make that big a difference to the overall results. Um, what is your response to critics who might argue that, well, these are smaller parties. Inevitably, some parties were not going to make it to the National Assembly or whichever legislature they were
Yes.
competing for, and so it's about time you just accept your fate and accept that this was a democratic process and take it from there.
Fair as that may be, but look at the whole process. There's been flaws and major things that affects everybody. So, which is now the recount or the revote? So, why we moving to the revote? A revote is because even though the results are there and you're seeing people are going to get it, and not everybody, okay, there's 200 seats, everybody fighting for the 200 seats. That's a legitimate claim. But however, it's our democratic right to participate. It's our democratic right to be part and parcel of that process. And the IEC is the people that's supposed to be giving us the allowance to do that. Now, if there's faults in the process of getting us to that point, irrespective of the results, end result, then that means the start of it is incorrect. And that's what we're saying. Had there not been these issues, major issues, then perhaps the end result would be different.
As ARA, then, are you saying that you are confident and you believe to an extent the results might work in your favor should a revote be instituted?
A revote should be instituted because we want the electorate happy, the voter happy. You now declaring this elections to go with, knowing that other members that have voted and their votes are not counted, something is wrong, which is why you've seen our members are out there protesting. Now, these are people, these are the voters, they are the electorate, they are the custodians of this entire elections. It's not me, it's not you. We are the contestants. They are the custodians of these elections. They tell us who they want in. And by them, their vote or their right not acknowledged, I think something is not right here.
All right, and then you did mention those 20 parties. Well, of course, you didn't mention names. But if I can try my luck here, are you able to confirm or deny whether there are any one of the bigger parties that are involved, or parties with a more substantial electorate and electoral base that are involved in amongst these 20?
They could be.
There could be.
Yes.
Are there?
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
We'll have to yes, wait.
Yeah.
And I think at the end of the day, people must be happy, and people must know that they've exercised their right and their right to freedom that we fought for in this country. So each we should never be excluded. And I know that I always say we are more inclusive than exclusive. So even in this act, yeah, we taking it up and bringing it forward because of the one thing is that as Allah, it's SA first. And anything and everything that pertains to SA and its citizens should be the priority.
Right, Kamala Thomas, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. We'll definitely be
Thank
keeping
you.
an eye to see how this story develops and progresses. That was Kamala
Thank you.
Thomas from the Africa Restoration Alliance speaking to us about 20 political parties that have disputed the results of this election and are now calling for a revote. Stay with us. We'll come to you with more as and when it happens.